Have you seen Taron Egerton's new psychological thriller series, Blackbird? It's an episodic about a drug dealer who infiltrates a maximum security prison to coerce a serial killer into revealing the whereabouts of 18 of his dead victims. But is it worth your time? Here's my overview of the first two episodes in this series on Apple TV Plus, Blackbird. The creator and showrunner of this series is Dennis Lehane, who adapted James King's 2010 biographical novel In With the Devil, a fallen hero, a serial killer, and a dangerous bargain of redemption. That is a mouthful. Again, there are 6 episodes in this series. Apple TV released 2 episodes so far on July 8th and will drop the remaining episodes every Friday through August the 5th. The story is centered around drug dealer Jimmy Keene, who got finessed by the feds to plead out when he gets caught up in selling unregistered guns and kilos of cocaine. Jimmy was expecting to get 5 years in this plea deal, but was sentenced to 10 years. Now, to cut down his sentence with the possibility of vacating his conviction altogether, Jimmy cuts another deal with the same federal prosecutors. All he has to do is convince a deranged serial killer named Larry Hall to reveal where his 18 victims are buried, like where their remains, where their bodies. He has to get this information out of Larry Hall. And Larry Hall doesn't reveal much. He doesn't even speak much, but he's portrayed as if he's on the spectrum a little. Now, the hook sounds a lot like The Blacklist, doesn't it? Well, it's not. This series is based on true events. The timeline is anthological, spanning throughout the 90s, with the key investigation connecting the storylines of each of the main characters. Taron Egerton plays Jimmy Keene. Paul Walter Hauser, oh my gosh, he's so fantastic. He plays Larry Hall, a subdued alleged serial killer, outsmarting detectives by pretending to have a mental illness, or he's probably on the spectrum. Greg Kinnear plays Illinois detective Brian Miller, who's more preoccupied with these murders than anyone on the case. Sepideh Mofi plays federal prosecutor Lauren McCauley. Now, she's responsible for getting Jimmy Keene into the prison and keeping their secret investigation or their covert operation quiet, which is difficult in a prison because the warden and other people know why he's there. Other people meaning correction officers and so forth. So it's going to be difficult to keep a rat, who infiltrated this prison, to keep that information quiet, because this information is valuable and profitable to some of the inmates. And legendary actor Ray Liotta plays retired cop and Jimmy's dad, Big Jimmy Keene. This was Ray Liotta's final TV performance, and boy, does he deliver. I mean, Ray Liotta has never missed a beat, and he really delivers in this performance. I believe he's in 3 episodes, I believe. Well, he's in these 2. I believe he's in 3 episodes, but it might be 4. Don't quote me. But his performance is outstanding, of course. May he rest in peace. Everyone's performance is great so far, and the style of storytelling is riveting. I like how distinctive the timelines are too, even though it's predominantly, I believe this entire series takes place in the 90s. The filmmakers captured the 90s so perfectly with the texture. It feels very nostalgic, the clothes and the set design, of course, but even the relaxed and slow pace nature of investigations. In those days, things just seemed slower. Now, everything's online, everything is very easily accessible, but in the 90s, you were limited, although we had computers, but you were very limited with information. It took longer to get the information. And I like that the filmmakers of this series are capturing the essence of the 90s. It's conveyed so brilliantly, but I have issues so far in these first 2 episodes. Well, the issue I have so far is that I wasn't sold on the fact that Jimmy Keen's persuasive enough to extract this information. Federal agents need to implicate a mentally deranged serial killer. Jimmy's modestly charismatic. We don't get enough of it in the pilot episode. He's not browbeaten. He doesn't seem thick-skinned. He's not intimidating or war-torn, even though he's supposed to be this big-time drug dealer and arms dealer, really. And we do see him negotiate the life of his childhood best friend. But it sort of fizzles. It wasn't very engaging. It was kind of creative. I mean, rubber bullets are used, but and he's somewhat suave. But how's that going to be useful in this plot? This is a very intricate plot. I mean, he's supposed to infiltrate a maximum security prison with the most dangerous criminals in federal prison. He doesn't come off as someone who can survive it, at least in these two episodes. And he definitely doesn't have forensics training in the way that Jodie Foster's Clarice delivered in Silence of the Lambs. So at first she seems a little timid, but we know she's strong because she has trained at Langley and is becoming an FBI investigator. Why, if the FBI has the best of the best in law enforcement, why him? That's what I got from this. Why Jimmy Keen? Because he's not giving. Taron Egerton in these 2 episodes does not come off as someone who's ready to do this job. That's what I got. No one in the entire bureau is able to pull off what Jimmy Keen's supposed to do. Not a single highly trained behavioral scientist in the bureau. Now, Jimmy's arc didn't convince me in the pilot or the 2nd episode. Moments before he's about to be processed in the maximum security prison where Larry is being held, Jimmy's afraid. He's trying to back out. He's not built for this. So hopefully in the next 4 episodes, no, not even the 4 episodes, it's got to happen in the next episode at least. show us what he's really got, because they're belaboring the point that they have to train him to be ready to get this information from Larry. Now, there's no turning back. They kind of coerce him to go through with it. If he doesn't, he meaning Jimmy Keene, then he's going to be facing 10 years. He's going to finish out his sentence. And so far up to this point, he's only served 7 months of it. Now, in the second episode, Larry Hall is granted an appeal, so he could be released because of police misconduct. Yeah. The appeals judges rule that investigators coerced a confession out of Larry without offering him a lawyer, and claims that errors were made on the confession form, which we see that in the pilot episode. Now, don't get me wrong, this series has a lot of potential. These 2 episodes were good, and the performances were great. It's very intriguing so far. But I'm expecting to see more development with Jimmy Keene's character, because I kept thinking this was a role that Kiefer Sutherland must have turned down. I kept thinking, and I know he's probably 20 years too old for this role, but I was visualizing that Kiefer Sutherland should have gotten this role. At any rate, that is not to say that Taron Egerton isn't good. It's just that he doesn't come off as someone who's going to survive it, which could mean that he's not going to survive it. At any rate, if you enjoy side thriller series like Criminal Minds and even The Blacklist, I think you'll enjoy this one. Now, unlike those network shows, Blackbird has more freedom to give you uncensored content, which makes action sequences and content less commercialized than network TV. Blackbird is currently streaming on Apple TV Plus, and you can watch the 2 episodes now. Well, if you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until next episode, peace.